What it do, Panther Nation? Welcome to Fans in the Stands. I'm Tony,
And I'm CJ.
and today we're going to discuss who would be the safer pick at number one overall for the Carolina Panthers. Let's go. CJ, how you feeling today, cuz? What's good with you?
Hey, I'm feeling great today, cuz I'm feeling great. It's another day
Talk
closer
about
to
it.
the draft. Another day closer. We see who we gonna get. So,
Yes,
let's
sir.
get
Yes,
into it.
sir. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. If you were in charge, if you were Scott Fitterer or Frank Wright, or David Tepper. Let's just say a combination of the three because we know all three will have their hand in
Mm-hmm.
the final decision. Who would you make your first overall selection to be? Who you got?
Hold on. Let me first say this. I hope it's just two hands in that pot. They need to kick Tepper's ass out that pot.
Yeah,
He needs to sign the checks, do the promoting, all the whatever. But when it
right.
comes to drafting this damn quarterback, he don't need to have his fingers nowhere near that.
Well,
That needs to be Fitterer and right.
he gonna have some type of input. You know what I mean?
I don't
He
give a damn. He don't need to.
right. Okay. If you were just Frank Wright and Scott Fitterer,
There you go.
and the final decision came down to you, who
hmm
would you who would you select with the number one overall pick in the draft? Who you got?
To be honest with you, I think the safer pick would be CJ Stroud. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
How so?
that's what we going on today. He to me he would be the safer pick. All right, let me bring this up here real quick.
All right.
Okay, got a slide here. All right.
Oh.
So first off, his size. Okay, everybody's talking about his size. He's about 6'3", I believe.
Right.
Prototypical quarterback size. Um, wouldn't have any trouble seeing over the offensive lineman, and that's really been the biggest issue they brought up between him and Bryce Young. Okay.
Right. Right.
Is his size. He's about a good 5 inches taller than Bryce Young. Second, I got his accuracy, and we all saw it, especially in his pro day. Now I know they're throwing to receivers who have nobody on them, but his deep balls were accurate. And if the receivers had to slow down any, it wasn't much. Okay. And when you look
I
at
agree with that.
Bryce Young, when you look at Bryce Young's pro day, his long balls, you could tell him, Levis and Anthony Richardson, all three of their pro days, when they were throwing them deep balls, a lot of them receivers had to wait on them and and catch the ball. Now, mind
That's
you,
true.
it doesn't mean that doesn't happen in the NFL at all. I mean, it happens a lot. But when you look at Stroud as a whole, when you go back and look at his tape, he puts the ball where it needs to be. Okay. Whether he has to hit him in the chest and the numbers, if he has to put it low to make sure the defenders can't get, I'm sorry, make sure the defenders can't get the ball.
Right.
Whether he has to put it, high, the best position for his receiver to make the catch. Okay.
I agree.
His arm
I agree
strength.
with that.
Okay. I think he has better arm strength than Bryce Young. And like I said, I go back to pro day and throws. You can see, especially when he was throwing the deep balls, he was leading his receivers down the field. And also, if you look at his tape, when he has to put some zip on it, he can sling it. Okay. Now
That's
he might
true.
not be
That's
he
true.
might not be Will Leather strong, but he can put enough mustard on the ball to get to the receiver without hitting the rafters in the practice facility. Let's just say that.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree
But
with that.
all right. And then next I go with his matchup recognition. And I say that because I went back and looked at a little bit of tape of CJ Stroud. And Ryan Day's offense is not your typical pro style offense like Bryce Young runs at Alabama. It's
Right.
a RPO offense, with a little bit of a pro style passing game. And when I went back and looked at the tape, they had a lot of formations where they set people in motion, to determine whether it was man, zone, who would be covering who. And when the ball was snapped, you could just tell he knew exactly where he wanted to go. He knew if A wasn't didn't work out, he'd go to B. If A, B, and C didn't work out, he went to plan D. You could tell he studies film and he knows what matchups to go where.
So
Where to throw the ball depending on who depending on what the defense does. All right, and my last one for why I think he would be the safer pick is his pocket presence. And also, when you go back and look at his film, and everybody was saying about, talking about his mobility and how he couldn't get out of the pocket and make plays. And everybody wants to bring up the Georgia game, where he did exactly that. He had to
right,
get out of the pocket, he had to make plays, he had to run, he had to scramble. But when you go back and look at a lot of his tape, he didn't have to do that. He's in the pocket,
right.
he has
That's
time.
true.
When he gets a little bit of pressure on him, he slides up in the pocket. He lets his blockers take those defenders out of the play. He steps up in the pocket. He looks, makes his throws, and you go on to the next play. So his pocket presence is there. I don't think that's something that they're going to have to, work with him on a whole lot once he gets to the next level. Either it be with us or somebody else. But you can tell he's very aware. Okay, he's very aware. And when it's like that, that little timer goes off in his head, and he's like, "Okay, crap, I got to get rid of this. The ball is gone."
Right, right. I agree.
Okay,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
yeah. And I will say this too. Um, I just think overall, any any complaints anybody has about CJ Stroud, I don't think it's anything that's fundamentally wrong with him that they can't coach up at the next level. Okay. And the only reason I say that is because you can't coach size. Okay.
Right. That's true.
You can't coach that unless they want to send Bryce Young out there in some platforms or something, and give him an extra 3 or 4 inches to stand on.
Oh
You know that,
God.
that'll be the only thing they can do. But I
Right.
think any knock that you have on CJ Stroud is something that can be corrected with coaching, reps, and film study. So that's
I
why I
agree.
say that he would be the safer pick.
I agree.
But
Okay.
what about you?
Let's see. Well, I'm gonna go with Bryce Young, and
Mm-hmm.
this, I mentioned this a few days ago, probably a week or two ago, whatever, and I said that this is basically nitpicking season. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like to me personally, if being honest, I'm good with either one, right? But I do see some things in Bryce Young that I haven't seen in CJ Stroud. Now, is that a deal
Mm-hmm.
breaker to me? No, it's not a deal breaker. I went back and I watched the Alabama and Georgia SEC championship game in 2021. And let me start by saying this first. Like I said, this is nitpicking season. So I'm have to do whatever I can to make my pick sound more um, convincing. Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy in 2021. He has more game experience. I think 34 to 26. But I think actual games started is more like 27, 26. It's basically
Yeah.
even. Um, the one thing that I do like about Bryce Young that he did come up in the pro style offense. That's what they run in Alabama. So he's
Mm-hmm.
used to playing under center. He's used to seeing things from a pro style, a pro quarterback um lens. You know what I mean? Most offenses run a pro style attack. in the NFL, whether you're talking about the West Coast offense or variations of the West Coast offense, things
Mm-hmm.
of that nature. But he doesn't come from that background where they run this college air raid offense. That pro style
Mm-hmm.
offense is geared in my mind to get them prepared and ready for the NFL. You know, um, what I do love about him, he does have a quick, compact release. He's quick with it. He's very twitchy. You know what I mean? He gets the ball out of his hands. I watched that tape of him playing Georgia in the SEC championship in 2021, and then I watched like 3 or 4 more highlights from 2022, and I've yet to
Mm-hmm.
see him take a big hit in a game. It's
Mm-hmm.
like he know how to absorb hits when he does get hit to avoid the big hit, like something that's going to knock him out the game or give him a concussion or something like that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
he's, I guess you can say that's kind of magical, like a magician. Like only other player
Yeah.
I knew that could not, only other player in the league that I can recall ever not seeing taking a big hit was Warwick Dunn. Remember Warwick Dunn from Florida State, played running back for the
Mm-hmm.
Falcons? That
Yeah.
was my boy, and that was a knock on Warwick Dunn when he came out of college was his side. But you talking about
Mm-hmm.
somebody that played at a high level for 13,
Yeah.
14 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He sure
And
did.
he didn't take a big hit and he didn't have no major injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's that is a concern about Bryce Young, and that's something that everybody has talked about, not just me and you, but if you watch ESPN or NFL Network, that like his size is a concern for everybody. Again, is that going to, would that deter me from picking him or choosing him? No, it wouldn't. But it is a legitimate concern. And anybody that thinks that it wouldn't be, they're kidding or they're fooling themselves. Okay. So that there is a concern there. Um, he's very poised. Okay, he's very poised in the pocket. I love how when he doesn't feel a rush or anything around him, he'll sit there and he'll stare down the barrel of the gun and let it rip. And when
Mm-hmm.
you see him step into his throws, that's where you can see the velocity of the ball coming off his fingers, and that's when you see his arm strength come into play. Is when he doesn't step into his throws, where especially on deep balls, where the ball seems like it loses some velocity, it seems flat. The spiral of the ball is not as tight. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I would like to see him work on, and I'm sure whoever picks him, they will work on him with that because that's something that he does do in the midst of being a creator in and out of the pocket. He throws off his back foot a lot, and that
Mm-hmm.
can take away the from the accuracy, the velocity, you know, the snap of the ball coming out of your hand, that can affect your throw. But
Yeah.
when he's stepping into his throws, when he step up in the pocket and he let it rip, oh, he's just as accurate and just as sharp and as strong as anybody. I mean, I would literally put him up against anybody. And another thing that he does very well that honestly I haven't really seen CJ Stroud do. And again, it's not saying I would pick him over CJ Stroud because of this, but it's just something that I noticed. I like the way that Bryce Young reads defenses, how he slides protection when he see a rush coming or something of that nature. I like how he can. I think Bill O'Brien gave him the ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage and change protection for the linemen when he needed to. So that's something that they won't have to teach him to do at the next level because that's something that he's already has done. And but those are my um that's how I feel about Bryce Young. Okay,
Hmm.
I couldn't think of the right word that I wanted to use, but like I said, this is nitpicking season, and I woke up this morning, and if you ask me today who would I pick, it probably would be Bryce Young. So,
Okay.
um, like I said, either or, I think we would be happy with no matter which one we pick, CJ
Yeah.
Stroud or Bryce Young. Well, what's your final thoughts on that?
I'm still going with CJ Stroud, but I agree. I think we would be happy with either one. But you got the knock on Bryce Young about his size, and they talk about his injury uh potential for him to get hurt because he's so small. But
Right.
we do have to remember that injuries are not predicated on how big or how small you are, how strong or how not strong you are. You could fall out the bed in the morning and break something. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
So injury doesn't have no predetermined um path to whoever gets hurt.
Right.
Everybody can get hurt. Okay,
Right.
everybody can get hurt. But when it comes down to what I think Frank Wright and his coaching staff is looking for in their prototypical quarterback, I think they'll find that in CJ Stroud.
I agree with you. I can't. I have no argument against what you just said, sir.
Hmm.
I have
But the
no
one
arguments
thing though,
against that.
if if Bryce Young is the pick, he will have a pretty decent offensive line in front of him. It's not like he's coming to a situation where they got a completely trash O line, and you got to think about that too. And this is with both of them. They coming from programs who had really good lines in front of them.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
everybody is Alabama fast and strong in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
everybody is Georgia fast and strong in the NFL. So it's going to take some adjusting, going to take some getting used to. But you know, hey, look, like I keep saying, as long as it's one of these two,
Right.
I'm great. I'm great.
You hit
I'm
the nail
literally
on the
going.
head right there.
Yeah, as long as it's one of these two, that's all I'm worried about. If Carolina pulls some kind of crappy, play out of left field, and it's not one of these two, then yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
yeah.
I'm with you on that
But
one.
for me, safer pick, CJ Stroud.
All right. CJ is going with CJ Stroud, and today, if
Ain't
you
go
ask
wrong with
me,
CJ.
I'm at the, here he go. I would
There I
choose
go.
Bryce Young. All right.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for watching Two Fans in the Stands. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know in the comments who would be the safest pick to you. Would it be Bryce Young or would it be CJ Stroud? Let us know. We will always respond back to you guys. So we look forward to hearing from you. And until then, Panther Nation, keep pounding.